Certainly not the outcome that we had prepared for. I can tell you that. Very, very disappointing game for us. You know, you come out in a homecoming crowd. You haven't played here in 51 days. You think there would be a lot more juice than what we showed out there today, and it was certainly was not the case. A lot had to do with a good Troy University team. They came out there and played exceptionally well, controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides, and won the football game. I mean, they completely, if you look at the stat sheet, completely dominated us, and it was certainly a demoralizing defeat, to tell you the truth, after playing pretty well the previous three weeks. But our message to our team was, you gotta bring everything you got every single week, and there were times out there I didn't think we had what we needed to go out there and be successful. And that's something you deal with. Sometimes these situations are losses or lessons that you learn from, and I think it's going to be a really valuable lesson that our football team will learn about how we prepare after you have somewhat of some type of success. You look back and you say we won 3 wins. You got people kind of patting us on the back and telling us we're this and all that. We're, in all actuality, we just we competed, and we pulled out some victories, but we, by no stretch of any imagination, that we arrived, and that's a little bit of the sad thing about it. But we've got to play at the best of our ability each and every week to have a chance to compete. And tonight or today, we certainly didn't do that.
Coach, how frustrating is it? You get to the red zone 5 times and you come away with just 10 points, 2 out of 5. 1 interception. How frustrating is that, especially given the tenor of the game?
Well, it's really frustrating. You get down in there and you have an opportunity to put it in, and for some reason or another, it just doesn't happen. And then we try to end it with a kick, and the kick sails wide right or wide left. It's just a continual buildup of frustration in the red zone, to tell you the truth. You look back at that first half, and I think we missed 2 field goals and then had a 4th down turnover there, and it's easily 13 points. And maybe it's a little bit different ball game going into the second half, but we didn't execute well enough to get any points down there, and that's something that we were talking about on the headset right there in the last few seconds. Ticked off how Sunday has got to be a huge red zone day for us, and we've got to have a better plan than what we had today.
Coach, when you were backed up to your own, when they were in the red zone, basically, is that something you could really hang your hat on? Was the defense was able to make some good stops on 3rd down and even force them into field goals? Well,
yeah. I mean, certainly when they make the stops in the red zone, it's a confidence builder. But if you don't capitalize off it from an offensive standpoint, it's a team thing. You don't kind of sway one way or the other with whoever's playing the best. You've got to complement one another, and we certainly there for the most part didn't complement either side.
Coach, Troy's got a pretty good secondary, but it looked like in the early going there was some separation from the receivers early, but just some missed timing. Talk about what you saw from the passing game early.
Yeah, we thought throwing the football is probably what we're going to be probably leaning a little bit more towards. We had a lot of banged-up backs this week, and thought we could actually control the football in the air against them. But they did an exceptional job there, making some adjustments there. Maybe in the second quarter, started playing a little bit tighter coverage on us, and we didn't take the shots over the top to kind of separate it. So, they did a pretty good job with us. But, we got to improve. Connor didn't have one of the best days. I can tell you that. And it was one of those situations where you kind of, look in his eyes, and if it's not going right, and the head drops a little bit, and it may be a walk off the football field after a series, which we try to discourage as much as possible. But we had some opportunities that didn't happen for us.
Coach, in a game with just 3 penalties in 60, that's remarkable. But only getting 52 yards on the ground, is that?
Yeah.
I know you just said that the backs were banged up. So what do? You got a short week this week.
Yes, we do.
You get right back at it.
Oh, yeah.
Are they going to be ready?
Well, I think so. I mean, you got to go out there and you got to prepare and you got to practice and you got to try and make some some adjustments. I mean, when I look at our run game right now, we don't attack the edge very much. We're an up the middle team. I think we had 3 or 4 runs on the edge, and a few were some big, 10, 12, 15-yard gains. And we've got to establish and create more of an outside run than we have. And that's my job, and that's our coaching staff's job to go out there and create. And but one thing, we've got to get some consistency in the backfield. I mean, we really do. Glenn Smith didn't practice all week and goes out there and gives us, I think he got the most carries at 11 carries. And, we're very fortunate to even have him out there. Kyler had a pulled hamstring. We're playing Devin Gentry, a wide receiver there in the running back position. So we've got to go and get some consistency back there. And we got to get some guys that can actually go out there and practice and do some better things.
Coach, the offensive line has played, well prior to this game. Can you speak a little bit about their inability to protect Connor as he was sacked 4 times today?
Yeah. A few of the sacks I would throw on Connor, just holding the ball a little bit too long, and other times it was not identifying the front that they were in rushing. They got us on a twist game and an odd front, which, is nothing new. It's just, you talk about concentration, you talk about, fundamental focus on each and every play, and they didn't have it. They certainly didn't have it. I mean, it's not like there's some great scheme and something we haven't seen. We actually gave up one of the sacks that 3 weeks ago. We saw the exact same stunt, and it's very, very easy to see from the sideline, and I imagine it to be very, very easy to see from a left guard or left tackle position the way they lined up. They've got to get better. We've got to practice better. We've got to go out there and push them. And but they didn't have a fight in them today. It was more defeat than a fight. You just kind of look at them. And they didn't have what they needed today.
Yeah, Coach, I just want to piggyback on that. The snap from center, looked like it was a problem today. It was low. Connor had to consistently have to go to his toes to get the ball.
Yeah.
And the communication along the offensive line, I didn't hear a lot of that trying to stand, even with the line when the blitzes and the twists were going.
Yeah, I mean, that's something the offensive line has to do. They got to have the ability to communicate, and that's one of the critical things they've got to do more importantly than anything else. To line down, identify fronts. They saw a few different looks tonight, but nothing they haven't seen before. They've got to be better prepared by our coaching staff, and they got to practice better. We got to go out there and got to have it on game day. They got to have that fight in them. You just can't go out there and go through the motions. You can't. People don't just they don't just lie down for you these days. There's competitive people on both sides of the field, and typically the team that has that look and that fire and that intensity is the team that usually comes out on top. And that was Troy tonight.
Coach, with the running backs backed up, the way they were banged up this week and everything, is there any thought into using maybe Aaron Winchester as an option back there, like a double quarterback, like him as a running back? Since
No.
Today, the offense had a bit of a hard time, generating any points today. Was there anything in particular that the defense was throwing at you guys that, really gave you guys a hard time?
Yeah, I mean, give credit to Troy. They're a tremendous football team, and they came out ready to play. They did a couple of stuff that messed with us, but on the most part, it was just us not converting, not a lot of missed opportunities. Myself, I played terrible, and it affected our offense, and a lot of missed opportunities today.
Coach Elliott talked about the banged-up running back core you guys have had pretty much most of the season as well. What kind of strain does that put on you as kind of captain of the ship of the offense?
I mean, really, we just have to have a next man up mentality. It's tough, we got to use different guys in different formations. We use Devin Gentry back there a little bit, but we just, we got to get healthy. We got a quick turnaround, so we got to prepare, and hopefully, everyone will be 100%.
Connor, I asked Coach Elliott this also. I just want to get your take. Early on, it looked like there were some opportunities for some nice gains. Your receivers had some separation. Looked like the timing was a little bit off compared to last week, especially. How did you see the early passing game going? What happened there?
I think, like I said earlier, I just missed opportunities. Guys were open. I got to make throws. point blank, plain and simple.
Connor, mentally, how are you guys going to prepare for the game, the next game?
I know. I mean, this hurts, obviously, especially at home. Homecoming. We wanted to come out here and put on a good show for our fans, but we got to dwell on it tonight, and then tomorrow it's all nothing but south. So we got to go out. Quick turnaround. We got to go out, practice hard, stay in the film room all week, and be ready to play.
What were you seeing from their formations today that led you guys to, try to react and stuff the run that they've been so good at this year?
I feel like RPO really killed us a lot. I feel like take my hats off to Shore. I feel like they had a good game. It was a good team we played against. Just got to do a better job, just run to the ball. Just swarming. Everybody swarm to the ball, and I feel like we were well prepared. We just got to come out and just finish through. So.
Coming into the game, what was it that you wanted to take away from Troy? And because their offensive had pretty good success, what was the angle? What was the thing you were trying to take away from them?
I feel like they had a talent and skill group. Their wide receivers was very good. I feel like their quarterback did very well. I feel like you just got, like I said before, I just feel like we just got to do a better job. Just it's a numbers game, so I feel like just getting bodies on bodies and then just being able to run the ball and just create havoc. So.